and welcome to week 5 of the high school football season here on Mirror TV and YouTube. But before we start, first a word from our brand new first ever sponsor of our football show. UPMC Altoona Elite Orthopedics and the UPMC Sports Medicine Concussion Program are proud to support youth sports across our region and proud to sponsor the high school football preview show on Mirror TV on YouTube. To learn more about their board-certified orthopedic surgeons, their specialty-trained concussion management experts, and the wide range of orthopedic conditions they treat, visit upmcaltoona.com/ortho. To schedule an appointment at one of their offices in Hollidaysburg, Evansburg, or Bedford, call 814-889-3600. Okay, thanks to our new sponsor. We really appreciate it. And we have one now, and hopefully that's going to make things go a little bit easier, a little bit nicer for our board we have here and everything. And once again, joined by Mike Boydum, our all-everything sports guy for high school football. This week we've got 6 games to look at. And Mike's picked out some really good ones here as far as the record matchups go. We're going to start first, though, with the 2 Blair County teams. Altoona, 1-1, coming off the loss to Hollidaysburg. They're hosting Chambersburg, 0-2. What do you know about Chambersburg? What do you want to tell the people about Chambersburg?
Well, they've struggled so far this year, especially defensively. So hopefully Altoona can get back on track. Homer Delatre said about how Hollidaysburg really dominated the line of scrimmage. You saw the game. Did you feel like Altoona struggled at the line a little bit?
I was surprised at how well Hollidaysburg's defensive line and linebackers were just plugging up holes, plugging up gaps. I don't think Straub and Day were hit like that in week 1 against Cumberland Valley. But I still think Altoona, when they had time, the 2 touchdowns they scored were on these passes over the middle, and he had time. And those guys, Murray, I believe, and Kyle Pheasant, these guys, they had some speed out there. If they can get Day some time, and there were times the opening drive, Altoona drove and got a first down using Straub running, and then Hollidaysburg kind of tightened up, and Altoona went for a 4th down, didn't get it. But I don't know about Chambersburg, but I still think Altoona should be confident from the couple quarters that they did well in that game.
Yeah, and Coach Niedermeyer said, hey, he didn't really want to talk about Chambersburg too much because he wanted to talk about Altoona just needs to do what they want to do, and they need to play well, fill in the mistakes that they made last week, and be able to win the game. And he thinks they can do that as long as they just play their game.
Well, I know one of the names that stood out for me, and I saw him in the Players of the Week, linebacker. He's a junior. His name's Connor Reimer. Real good track and field kid. I know him from that, and I remember him from junior high football. But he plays linebacker next to Straub, and Straub's a pretty good linebacker too. If they can have 2 guys like that playing, that's going to help the Mountain Lions down the road. And speaking of good segue down the road, Hollidaysburg is going to be hosting Central Dauphin East. Hollidaysburg 2-2. Central Dauphin East, the Mid-Penn School, they're coming off 2 losses. They lost to Cumberland Valley 7-6. And I believe the first game is at Exeter Township, who Hollidaysburg plays in a couple of weeks. People could confuse them. Central Dauphin is the really good school down there. Central Dauphin East has kind of struggled over the years. What do you see with that game?
Well, I mean, Altoona obviously dominated Cumberland Valley, and Central Dauphin East is coming off of a loss to Cumberland Valley, and Hollidaysburg beat. But you can look at all those things, and that's what Homer Delatre does not want Hollidaysburg to be doing.
Don't read the paper this week, Colton Tigers. Don't read the paper.
Because he thinks that Central Dauphin East is a really dangerous team. He said there's actually there's players on that team that scare him. He used the word scare. He said they are athletic and they have some size on the line, and if Hollidaysburg doesn't come ready to play like they did against Altoona, they could be in trouble and find themselves falling behind like they did against Baldwin and Musselman.
Yeah, and one of the neat things about the time of this game, one of the assistant coaches for Central Dauphin East, Clark McCready, a Hollidaysburg grad who was coaching at Hollidaysburg. I know he coached my sons, they're 11th graders. He was their 8th grade line coach. He coached track there. He's now teaching down there. He's coming back home, and I know a lot of the kids on that Hollidaysburg team really like Coach McCready, and now they're going to have to beat him. But I mean, I think they'll get a kick out of talking to each other before and after the game. Our next game is, even though the records are different, they're two undefeated teams. Clearfield 2-0 at Central 4-0. And if I'm right, Central's beaten everybody pretty well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the closest game? Still,
They get the Belfont game.
Belfont game. That was still, what, 10 points at least?
Yeah. That's
And real
two
quick, we
touchdowns.
forgot to do this. We're spoiled now. We got a mask from Central this week. The Cove boys to go with our gator that we got from Central Rhode Real quick, they gave us a real nice red bag. I felt bad that I forgot. I'm glad I remembered that, but we did get a mask from the Cove boys. But anyways, talk about the Cove boys. 4-0 against 2-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, one Cove boy who's been really impressive has been Jeff Hohenstein. Already has over 1,000 yards passing in 4 games. Had another 300-yard passing game this past week, and he's going to have to do that again this week. Coach Baker talked about how if they could win this game, they could get very close to, locking up one of those top 2 seeds in 3A. There's only going to be Tyrone, Central, Westmont, Hilltop, and Penn Cambria in those playoffs. And right now, it's a mix of who's going to be home in the semifinals there. And they could definitely lock up a home field game here with a win over Clearfield. But Clearfield has some good players too, and they have an underclass quarterback who you've seen
The
before.
junior, yes. He's
That's
been a
very
quarterback
good.
since 7th grade, I think.
Yeah, he's a big kid, and he's got a lot of talent too. So this could be a high-scoring game, a lot of passing possibly, and it might be a pretty exciting day to get a ticket to go out and watch the Cove play.
Yeah, 20%, right? So 20% out at the Cove. Don't know what they see out there, but bring your calculators. Incidentally, Clearfield has not played in 2 weeks.
No, they played last week. They
Okay.
beat Phillipsburg.
Okay.
They played the first week of the season against Penns Valley. Got the win there. Came down with the possible
So they missed
COVID
2 in
test.
the middle then.
Was out 2 weeks,
Oh.
and then actually came back. Only was able to practice Thursday, and then had a game on and was able to beat Phillipsburg pretty handily last week.
See, you got to think Central has an advantage being at home. Central has an advantage because they played more, but Clearfield's always good.
And this is Central's first home game of
Wow.
the season. They had
See?
opened the season with
This guy knows it all. I'm telling you, I didn't know that, and I work here. So, anyways, our next game is another great matchup. 2 3-1 teams. Juniata Valley 3-1 and Northern Bedford 3-1. Northern Bedford's pretty much, other than the game they lost, they pretty won handily game. They haven't had many close games.
Yeah, Northern Bedford was, actually right there with Bellwood in that first game before they fell apart in the second half, and they've been dominating since. Juniata Valley would be undefeated in this game, but they had a little letdown against Williamsburg, and since then, that must have been a wake-up call because they have been really hammering their opponents. Both these programs have had plenty of success over the past few years. Juniata Valley has talented kids on that team like Hunter Johnson, Gabe Brower, but so does Northern Bedford. Northern Bedford's got Thad Lighty, Dalton Smith, Brady Clark. I mean, these are household names who are really talented kids, a lot of experience, and this is the type of game that is big for both schools because Juniata Valley right now is got a hold of a bye in the Class 1A playoffs in District 6, and Northern Bedford's trying to hold on to a top seed in the District 5 1A playoffs, where they're also going to be going in there with Tussey Mountain. So,
And a great segue there because our next game is, again, another great matchup. 4-0 at 4-0. Southern Huntington at Tussey Mountain. Southern Huntington's 4-0. And Southern Huntington lost a kid who transferred
yeah,
to
to
BG, the Garner boy. And if you've watched any BG games or read any of them in our paper, he's good. I mean, he's really contributed for him. A small school like Southern Huntington loses a kid like that, and they're still 4-0. That's a pretty good tip of the hat to Jeff Batesell's son.
Let's give some credit to
Yes.
Aaron Batesell, who's in his first year down at Southern Huntington. Jeff Batesell's son. He's never lost as a head coach.
And by the way, you come in, hey, by the way, new coach, one of your best players is leaving. He's going to another school, but get ahead, see how you do. And he's 4-0.
yeah, he's done a great job down there. And
Who do you like in this game?
And I gotta say though, in this one, I gotta go with Tussey Mountain. I'm going Tussey Mountain, and we haven't talked about a coach probably on this show more than we've talked about Coach Sadasante.
Anthony Sadasante, one of the best sounding coaches.
The guy has just come into Saxton and turned that program around. They're a powerhouse that year in and year out. And right now they're looking like they're going to be the top seed again in 1A. And it's all going to come down to Tussey Mountain versus Northern Bedford. That's what it's looking like in 1A in District 5. And it's going to be a great game. The playoffs start for District 5 on the October 23rd. That's another development we had this week is the playoffs all got moved up.
It's week 5 and we're already close to the playoffs after week 5.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting, and I think that Tussey Mountain's experience is gonna push them past the Rockets in this one.
And then our last game we're going to talk about is our Saturday matchup, which I think BG's played almost seems like every Saturday they've been playing. District 5, Chestnut Ridge 3-1 at Bishop Guilfoyle 2-2, and this is one of those games. I mean, Bishop Guilfoyle has a couple tough games. I think you always have Richland's tough. You're gonna have Bedford's tough. I thought Westmont Hilltop was going to give them more of a fight, but kudos to BG for pounding the heck out of them. But Chestnut Ridge, Max Shoemaker, there's some good ball players down there. BG's 2-2, but that's all because of the whole ineligible player thing. They were 3-1 until they lost the game because of the academic thing. But Chestnut Ridge, that's a legitimate threat to BG, wouldn't you say?
It has been the past couple of years, but BG's been able to knock them off. And this is Logan Pfister's last chance to beat BG. He's a senior. He still hasn't done it since Chestnut Ridge has come into the Laurel Highlands. They've come into this game as the team that a lot of people thought was going to win, and BG's come out on top both times. BG kind of had a test run against a really good quarterback in Richland in the first game, and Coach Wheeler was really happy with the way they handled Kellen Stahl and the skill players. And he keeps going back to that Richland game. He thinks that their BG has only played 2 bad quarters this whole season. The second half of the Richland game. He's really pleased with the way his defense has played recently. And Logan Pfister can run, he can pass, he can kind of throw a wrench into your defensive plans, but BG seemed to have the answer to anything he's thrown at them the past 2 years.
In the game last year, or was it 2 years ago, where they come from behind? Wasn't somebody winning, and then did BG come back late in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
That was an incredible game because they kept announcing the score all night at where I was at Hollidaysburg. And then I got back to the paper, and it's like, oh, BG won. I was like, whoa, what happened? But that's all our games for this week's show. But before we leave, we know we have my segment that I enjoy so much, and we like to call it Cool Names.
I wanna know what's the name of the game.
Our Cool Names segment this week, we got 2 names suggested to us. The one that was given to Mike by Williamsburg's Brady Appleman, and Brady says we shouldn't even do any more segments the rest of the year because from Williamsburg, he's a lineman too, which I love. He's not a skill position. His name is Chico De Hoyos. Chico De Hoyos.
He was announced over the loudspeaker as the coolest name in high school football.
See, there you go. So Brady's already putting the pressure on me, but he's on our list. And the other one that was given to me was right under my nose. I didn't even remember this. Hollidaysburg has a junior running back linebacker. His name's Chase Fox. And what makes his name even cooler, his middle initial is A. So it is Chase A. Fox. Again, I like that name. I already got 2 given to me for next week, but I'm going to hold on to those until next week because we are building that 11-man all-star roster that Mike wants nothing to do with. But I'm hoping that we can get another sponsor for our Cool Name segment to go with our orthopedic sponsor that we have for the whole show. But that'll be it for week 5 to wrap everything up. Join Mike and I again next week where we'll still have our sponsor and we'll have hopefully more masks sent to us. Mike's going to be at a game Friday night.
I'll be at the Central game.
Mike's going to be. We don't need any more.
Maybe Clearfield. Maybe Tim Janoco could bring us to Clearfield.
Tim, we'll take it. You put something up here. We'll take it. I got Hollidaysburg. We already have Hollidaysburg. I don't know if Central Dauphin East watches our show, but hey, we'll take it. And we can brag that we have 1,000 subscribers now.
We do.
We have 1,000. But we want you guys to know that Mike and I are still going to be the same 2 humble sports writers that started the show last year.
So you went down to Bellwood and no one gave you a
I went to
mask?
Bellwood Monday night for a JV game. Bellwood has a really nice JV team. I'm telling you, it was like watching a miniature version of their varsity. But yeah, I thought Nick Loveridge was there, came up, said hi to me and my wife. No mask, no gator, no mask. Maybe next time. But for Mike Boyden, my name's Scott Franca. Thanks for watching Mirror TV on YouTube.